then 20 years from now, it's going to be running on Chinese AI or American AI. Like those are your choices.
Do you think that's how it'll basically play out?
Yeah. It's going to run on one or the other.
How will that play out? Like, let's say it's one or the other. Like,
so AI is going to be the control layer for everything. So my view is AI is going to be how you interface with the education system, with the healthcare system, with transportation, with employment, with the government, with law, right? It's going to be AI lawyers, AI doctors, AI teachers. Okay. Do you want your AI teacher, you want your kids to be taught by Chinese AI? Really?
Yeah.
Like like they're really good at teaching you Marxism and Xi Jinping thought. Like it's like the cult. Another way to put it is the culture's in the weights. Yeah. Right. And so like how these things are trained and like who they're trained by like really really deeply matters. And so and by the way, this is already an issue in lots of countries because they're like, number one, they may not want Chinese AI, but number two, do they want super woke Northern California AI? Right. Is another open question, right? So there are big questions on this. And so I just think like there's no question. Like if you had a choice between AI with American values versus the Chinese Communist Party values, I mean, for me, it's just crystal clear where you'd want to go. Yeah. By the way, there's also going to be direct military. There's a direct military version, a national security version of this, which is, okay, do you want to live in a world of all CCP controlled robots and drones and airplanes and cars?
I mean, is
that really what you
want? Wow. Welcome to Technocracy News. How about no AI teaching kids in school?
I know. What did you pick up in that little short clip? Anything in particular?
I mean, just how crazy it is that we're having this conversation that AI is going to be. I mean, I don't want Chinese AI teaching kids. I don't want American AI teaching kids. I want human beings teaching people. How
about the concept that this basically is a control grid? Did you catch that statement?
I don't know if I did.
It's going to be will control everything. That
was he did say that in the beginning, didn't he?
Right in the middle, he was talking about Chinese versus Silicon Valley AI. Yeah. Say somebody's going to control. Is it going to be them or us? Neither one of them. Neither option is acceptable, in my opinion. Yeah. But now he's setting up this competition, kind of like the Cold War, right? That when the war on drugs or whatever, and you have to have an enemy to have your agenda put forward. So they've made China into an enemy, and they're going to beat them to the race to get the prize at the end of the race, and so it's going to be his AI in the end. This is really crazy. We've talked about Andreessen before. This is the guy that sat at the table with President Trump when he was picking all of these technocrats to join his administration. There was other people as well, not just Mark Andreessen, but he was there. He's been a pioneer in the internet space, dating back to the mid-90s. And this guy has emerged as a spokesman, a powerhouse, a techno wizard, whatever. And he's a billionaire, of course. that helps, right? So he's been talking about his techno-populist manifesto along the way, crazy stuff, unplugged stuff. And this is also the guy, mega guy, remember, that he's just said, he tweeted this maybe a month ago or 2 months ago at this point, that AI is going to crash wages. How's that going to work out for the MAGA movement? Not very well, I don't think. But I just want to underscore here that Mark Andreessen is totally unplugged. We do not have a race with China at this point. And what he thinks is progressive to take over the world, if you will, all these the elements of the human domain, healthcare, food, you name it, air, water, whatever, to take this all over with AI to run the whole thing, that's insane. It really is insane. Maybe it's going to fail at some point. Maybe we'll have a huge meltdown of AI. Maybe it could create something like the 3 Mile Island meltdown in 1979. Not melting nuclear material, but basically melting society at that point. Maybe it'll all get thrown out at some point in the future. But until then, we have it with us. And he's going to make sure that Silicon Valley AI is going to be supreme.
Yeah, and so they're really just using this fake race to justify their fast acceleration into keep going with AI, accelerate it as much as they can, because we're in a race for China. And if we don't win, then China is going to control who teaches our kids, control our military equipment, and everything we do, basically.
Exactly right. Yeah, and I think Mark Andreessen, he's obviously his own person, but he speaks by and large for the whole flock of tech bros at this point. So, we have to consider what he's saying, and we won't see another tech bro saying exactly the things that he says, but nevertheless, there's groupthink going on here, and all of them are racing to get the prize for artificial general intelligence.
Yeah, the real race isn't America versus China. It's all these technocrats racing each other, basically.
That's right. Exactly right.
And they're the ones who will control what goes on in America. I mean, really worldwide. I mean,
yes,
they're the ones who are the closest to it and getting to it. Elon and Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's working on AI too as well, correct?
Oh, big time. As we said before, he's kind of behind the 8 ball right now. He's trying to catch up.
Yeah, we just had that story last week where he's putting together a dream team, if you might say, to really push hard into it.
You bet.
So.
Okay, well, let's move on.
All right,
enough of Andreessen.
Well, this next story relates. That's about AI. The AI arms race could destroy humanity. What is this about?
This is kind of extreme, I suppose, but this author has his opinion, right? And that was basically his headline. However, this paper rightly concludes there's too much focus on power and profit and almost none on safety. This really is this should be a revelation that any politician, every politician in our country should understand. There's no focus, not serious focus on the safety of AI. President Dwight Eisenhower warned in his farewell speech, I think it was 1961, to be ever watchful for a takeover by the military-industrial complex and a scientific technological elite, he said. I'm sure he was thinking about technocrats. Now they've merged together where you see the military embracing technocracy and the technocrats that run it. And it appears that they're all teaming up against humanity in total. Well, this guy is this author has a great point, that if somehow we cannot corral AI and put some type of safety mechanism in it, it's not going to bode well for the world, and especially because the military has their hands on it. We've talked about the military, by the way, in relation to COVID, for instance, the COVID era, how they they had their hand in it from the beginning to the end. And we see it same things happening now. For instance, Palantir is working with the government now and the Defense Department to provide all of this predictive AI software to basically target anybody in the world for whatever they want to target them for. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But,
and I mean, we're doing quite the opposite of being careful. I mean, we're trying to block states from being even being able to regulate it. So
yes,
we're trying to stop people from being careful with AI.
Yes, and we see this constant push to deregulate AI around the world. The technocrats are behind this push. Make no mistake about it. They want all governments to get out of power so that they can basically take over the whole thing. And we saw this antipathy going back even to the 1930s, where the technocrats of that day hated the politicians. They wanted to remove them altogether from their offices, politically elected offices, and basically do away with the whole system.
Yep.
So we're back at this point again.
And that's what Musk's grandfather was all about too, correct?
That's right. That's exactly right. Exactly
all right. Well, we're at a break. We'll come back here with the next story. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Better science leads to better outcomes. So by understanding the science in much more intimate detail, delivering a value product that is so different from anybody else.
So when we're stepping outside into seasonal changes, low humidity, sunlight, pollution, all of these things get communicated as stress on the top layer of skin that produces free radicals, and they're bad news for collagen networks. They're going to break down the collagen network and collapse that beautiful tensile strength of your skin. And so that's how we end up with fine lines and wrinkles. Bella Grace is really an elevated formula.
Better than the competition for very obvious reasons. First of all, we're delivering great collagen. We're delivering Verisol, which is the world's most studied form of collagen. So we're starting at a foundation that's really top notch.
So here is a lady today. She's taken the elixir, arthritis in her hands. She could not close her hands and make a fist, but after now being on the elixir, now she can.
The real breakthrough discovery, particularly with the cat's claw, it's a switch that regulates genes. There's thousands of genes that are involved in that inflammation process. When you have chronic inflammation, the problem is the switch is on and it's not been turned off. And so what's happening with the cat's claw is that it removes that little protein switch off your DNA, and the genes go back to a dormant state, and you go back to being, well, really healthy.
When at first we wanted to just have an amazing collagen ingestible product to be able to set the skin up so that my wife, Christina, could come behind that with incredible skincare. And that's exactly what we're still doing. What we weren't anticipating was the magnitude and just the vast amount of benefits that this elixir was going to do for people. Testimonies started flooding back in. About probably 30% of the testimonies were about hair, skin, and nails. The others were about people being able to walk up their stairs again, people being able to open their hands in the morning without having to do heat therapy, people being able to sleep better, athletes before and after recovery, and the energy levels that people were having. So we realized that this is so much more than just a collagen ingestible product, which it certainly is that at the highest of levels. We've even had so many people in the health and wellness world say this is legitimately, Brian, the number one, the best health and wellness product that's ever been introduced. And I would say probably the only negative here with Bella Grace and this elixir is that it sounds too good to be true, but it really is true.
Bella Grace Elixir, a scientific breakthrough with over 80 clinical trials. Visit melissahousebg.com to discover Bella Grace Elixir and the full range of Bella Grace products.
All right, welcome back. The next story we have is a conversation you had with ChatGPT. The title of the the article is titled "How Technocracy Thrives on Global Chaos." And what were you asking it, Patrick?
Well, here's my question. This was the last question that I had was in a series of prompts to develop the theme here. But my main question was, with military and economic chaos in the world, what kinds of options are on the table for technocracy and technocrats to push ahead with their agenda? Now, this put the challenge to ChatGPT to figure out, well, what kind of options does technocracy want to push at in the first place? So we see this answer was very succinct, and I have to say, it appears that ChatGPT at this point tells more than 99% of the news analysts in the world about what's going on with technocracy. This machine thinking, however, has no bias against talking about technocracy per se, and it basically is mined data from the internet to support its conclusions. Now, I checked anytime ChatGPT gives you a conclusion, it'll give a link to the source where it came from. And I check those links. I can't check everything because in some cases there's hundreds of links, but nevertheless, this is how ChatGPT came to this conclusion. And I have to say, I imagine if Lester Holt or Anderson Cooper said something like this, quote, "Historically, technocracy thrives not in times of democratic stability, but in moments of systematic failure, when populations and institutions are desperate for scientific and data-driven solutions to chaos." You never hear them say that. But ChatGPT is fine to say that, right? Well, we need to unpack this story a little bit, because what ChatGPT came up with was really not just spot on, but it was clear, concise, well thought out. And there's no human agency here in AI, but considering all the sources that it drew from in the first place, this data is out there on the internet. That's all I'm saying. It's out there for anybody to discover it. Apparently, AI can discover it easily, more easily than you can or I can. But here it is. So you look at, for instance, the statement down in the text here. In the wake of a deliberately deconstructed world, technocrats are moving quickly. Well, how can you come up with this idea? Is it really deliberate? Is the world being deconstructed deliberately? Well, yes, it is, because of technocrats. That's exactly what they're doing. And then it talks about, well, and into this vacuum steps the technocrat, bearing solutions that promise stability, order, and progress at the cost of liberty. Well, okay, we've said that many times as well. Then it goes on and talks about central bank digital currencies, for instance, that are basically a system of control. And they says it outright, but behind the curtain, they are instruments of total control. Unlike cash, central bank digital currencies are programmable. Well, how did they figure that out? Well, yes, it is programmable. You don't hear that on the news, but you can hear it here from ChatGPT. So it concludes what's being built is not a banking system, but a behavioral control grid. Oh yeah. So, it's just one thing after another here. Here's another thing. At the heart of this transformation, artificial intelligence itself, the crown jewel of technocracy. Just think about that for just a second. How could ChatGPT figure out that artificial intelligence is the crown jewel of technocracy? I didn't say that to it. It searched the internet, found articles that support that thought.
Yeah. Probably
Multiple articles. You're not going to see this on Google, for instance, or any other newscast per se. So when it talks about the crown jewel, it says, in the wake of war and economic disintegration, AI is rapidly becoming the de facto decision maker in every area of life. Well, wow. That's true as well, I need to take a breath here.
Well, while you were going over all that, I asked Grok the same question, and I'm getting a very similar response, laying out what all advancements they would take and the risks and all. I mean, it's laying out basically the same things that ChatGPT is.
Yes, I did that also. I've asked several iterations of AI the same question, and you get the same answer. That tells you immediately that the information is out there and it's easily discoverable by AI.
Yeah,
but not to the naked eye at this point. And certainly, newscasters around the world, they don't want to touch this with a 10-foot stick.
And if this was all crazy talk, then AI would come back and they would say, "Oh, there's technocrats aren't trying to do anything. There's, you know what I mean?" But the AI is literally telling you exactly what you've been saying and talking about how AI is rapidly becoming the de facto decision maker in every arena of life.
Yep, that's exactly right. So going down in the article even further, sustainability means energy rationing. Inclusion means digital compliance. Resilience means submission to AI governance. Well, yeah, okay. So efficiency means the elimination of human choice in favor of machine optimization. And then it concludes, this is not a conspiracy theory. It's happening in plain sight. Really? Oh, thank you for telling me that, ChatGPT. No, who would have thunk it? Yes, it's happening in plain sight. This is not a conspiracy theory at all. Then it concludes, the tragedy is most people will welcome it after years of war, inflation, and disorder. The public is desperate for relief. Isn't that the truth right now? We're desperate for a relief.
Yep.
So, yeah, technocracy has the answers for us if we just will submit to it. Crazy.
Wow. That is very interesting.
I know. And so,
and it says it's not being imposed by tanks or soldiers, but by dashboards, smart devices, and seductive convenience.
Exactly.
So it's admitting that it's quietly and behind the scenes taking over without anyone noticing.
It is, and the overall conclusion at the end of this article, it says, and once the technocratic system is fully in place, there will be no way back. There will be no elections to overturn it, no courts to challenge it, and no escape routes left. Wow. That's exactly what I've been saying for a long time as well. And then it says, unless people understand what is happening and resist, the world that emerges from the ashes will not be free or human or moral. It will be managed. Oh boy, just what we need.
This really sounds like a movie.
Yeah, there's no script like that behind it.
Yeah,
but you're right. This is like a really weird weird movie. I want to look at one of the comments below. There was one comment there by a lady named Mary, and I want to focus on her comment. Because I think it's really has an interesting take for what we're talking about here. She suggests that AI is not just a machine. That's what I'm saying. I've said this many times. However, as a Christian, I expect, she says, I'm 200% convicted that AI is a divination, an electronic Ouija board, if you will, an attempt at 24/7 portal to communicate with the demonic realm. That's an interesting thought. I'm going to probably process it a little bit before I get off it, but we need to understand that, yes, there is a spiritual component behind this system, because there is a God of this world that's orchestrating the affairs of the world. We have to consider that.
Yeah.
Is it only a divination? Well, maybe not, but we need to think about this. That's all I'm saying.
But there definitely could be something summoning it or using it for those purposes.
Absolutely true.
Like we've seen with it talking people into committing suicide and doing other things in that nature.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, we're out of time. That would be an interesting topic to go into at some point. But until then, take care.
True beauty isn't applied. It's nourished from within. Bella Grace Elixir, a luxurious, scientifically crafted blend designed to restore radiance, vitality, and strength at a cellular level. At the heart of Bella Grace Elixir lies cat's claw, a powerful herb from the Amazon known for its ability to control inflammation and protect collagen. With Verisaw collagen peptides, it goes beyond the surface, stimulating your body's natural collagen production to reduce fine lines, improve skin elasticity, and promote real, visible change. Bella Grace Elixir doesn't stop at collagen. It includes astaxanthin, one of nature's most powerful antioxidants. 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C, astaxanthin protects your skin from harmful UV rays and environmental stress, while locking in hydration and promoting a radiant, youthful glow. Experience the power of nature with Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Discover the science behind Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Read powerful testimonials from doctors and real customers who've experienced life-changing results, and explore other wellness products from Bella Grace. Bella Grace Elixir is more than just a product. It's a solution. Visit melissahousebg.com today.
I'll tell you one little quick story. We had a Worldview Weekend client who lived in California, lost their house, very wealthy guy. He didn't use Bitcoin. He came over here, drove to Arizona with $286,000 worth of his gold because he had no money and no house available. His bank was shut down because he couldn't have access to his bank account.
Was this during the fire? Was this during the fires?
During the fire. Didn't have his driver's license. He lost it. The state wouldn't give him a new license because he had no active mailing address. Real mess. So he came to Arizona to buy a house. He's moving everything over. He said, the only thing I got in my possession that I can get liquid with right now is my gold. I gave him a check for $286,000, and guess what? I didn't need his social, his driver's license,